In today's video, I'm going to show you how to repair a lawnmower which starts right up and then stalls right out. Usually the lawnmower will stall within a second or two after starting it up. Now before we get started, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a clean air filter and you want to make sure you have fresh gas. So let me start by removing the air filter. Alright, what you're going to want to do is take this out. This is an older one, but it's clean, it looks dirty. And you're going to bang it on a tree, like that, face down, or bang it on a hard surface to make sure it's clean, and then you could reinstall it. If you do not have a clean air filter, that can restrict the airflow into the carburetor and affect how the lawnmower runs. So it's very important that you have a clean air filter and fresh gas. If the air filter is clean, reinstall the air filter, and then what you're going to do now is you're going to perform a little test, and the purpose of this test is to confirm if the problem is what I'm about to show you or it is not what I'm about to show you. Now to perform this test, the primer bulb has to be good. If you could push it 3 times and then pull the cord and the mower starts, that's an indication the primer bulb is working properly. Once you know it's working properly, the next thing to do is have an assistant start the lawnmower while you're standing to the side of the mower. Once the mower starts up and it's getting ready to stall, you're going to push the primer bulb in. If you push the primer bulb in, and you could do it a few times, and that keeps the lawnmower running, that's a confirmation that the problem is what I'm about to show you. If the engine does not run and still stalls out, that's a very good indication that the problem is not what I'm about to show you. This is an excellent test. It'll save you a lot of time in disassembling things, so make sure you do that test. If pushing the primer bulb in when the mower is getting ready to stall keeps the engine running, now I'm going to show you what you have to do. Disassemble this part of the engine. We need to access the carburetor and the fuel bowl. If your mower does not already have a fuel filter in line, be sure to add one like I did. The mower you're looking at here is a 6 horsepower Murray. It's got a Briggs & Stratton engine, and it's around 20 years old. About a year ago, the connecting rod broke, busted up the whole engine. Luckily, I was able to find some spare parts laying around, and I reassembled the engine. If you'd like to check that video out, it's very interesting. Refer to the link right here. A new window will open. You could pause that video until you're done watching this video. The next thing I'm going to remove is the air filter housing, which bolts directly onto the carburetor. In my case, it's 8mm. On some mowers, you may not have to remove this because it's easy to access the bowl on the carburetor without removing that housing. Okay. Very carefully pull that away. There's also a tube on the back right here. Goes onto a pipe. If your tank is full of gas, place a rag right here. I'm going to crimp off the fuel supply line going into the carburetor using this tool you see right here. Push it on there, squeeze all the way down, and lock it. Now if you don't have a tool like this, you can use a straight jaw vice grip. Take a very thin piece of sheet metal. You're going to line the inside of the jaws, and then you could use a pair of vice grips to seal off the fuel line. Just be sure to use the metal inside the jaws, otherwise you will dig into the rubber and damage the fuel line. Next thing I'm going to do is remove the bolt on the bottom. Alright. You're going to have some fuel draining out. That's fine. Just whatever's inside the bowl. The part that I'm unscrewing right now is your problem. So I'm going to show you. Alright, now when you take the bowl out, this is your bowl. Alright, you can see the fuel in there. Make sure it's nice and clean. If there's any varnish, you want to take some brake cleaner or carburetor cleaner, put it inside there, and get a paper towel with maybe a toothbrush, and make sure it gets nice and clean before reassembly. Place this off to the side. This is your float. Leave that alone. There's no need to touch it. The float should not have any gasoline inside of it. If it does, that would indicate a faulty float. You're going to want to replace it. Now this is the bolt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a close-up of this bolt. The reason why the engine is stalling is because there's little tiny ports. Alright? You're going to need a wire. Now this is a piece of very thin wire I had laying around. I twisted a little loop handle on it, and it's very good to have around because I'm now able to reach through the hole. You want to make sure the hole is clear inside this part here, because this is where the gas gets drawn in. Alright, this is sitting in the bottom of your bowl, screwed in from the bottom. You have gas all around this. Fuel must flow into these openings, and then once it flows into these openings, it has to make it up through this opening on top. Alright, see I'm going all the way into the bottom. You can't see, but if I look through that hole, I can see the wire going all the way to the bottom. Usually what happens, this may gum up, or there may be debris from not having a good fuel filter, and it would clog this hole up. And when that becomes clogged, the fuel cannot find its way in through those two holes and up into the carburetor. And that's why the engine stalls out. So make sure you take a wire just like this and clean it carefully. Once it's all the way through, the next thing that I like to do, let me put that down for a minute, use some good old WD-40. Place the tube over the center tube and push the button. Alright, and you're going to do that a few times after you clean it. That's going to force whatever's in there that you loosened up out of those holes. Once this has been cleaned with the wire and the WD-40, you're going to reinstall everything, and the engine should start right up and no longer stall. If you enjoyed this video, please rate it a thumbs up, subscribe, and post links to this video on other websites and blogs. Also be sure to check out my video playlist as well. Thank you very much for watching.